My name is Yumiko Kawada. I was born to a family that sells cars. I have one older brother, but he's very obnoxious and causes a lot of trouble. My parents tried their best to tell him off, but he never listened. So everyone had given up on him. From a small age, my brother Koji often bullied me. Koji, stop it!
You're so annoying! I want to play on the swing, so get off! Come on, get off!
Stop it, it's scary! The one that always saved me was our childhood friend Yukio.
Stop it, Ko! Shut it, Yukio! Whoa! I have to go to cram school! I don't have time to play around with you idiots!
He was really horrible, but he was going to take over the family business when he was older. He'd been brought up with a lot of expectations from our parents, and they had spent a lot of money on his education. As for me, sorry, we can't let you go to cram school. Koji has his middle school entrance exams. We had so many regular customers in the past, but recently we haven't been selling a lot, so we don't know if we have enough profits. The company our family ran had been selling cars to the local town hall and local businesses ever since my grandpa's time. It also sold car insurance, so most of its sales were focused on the local area. We've been relying heavily on our regular customers, and were somehow able to continue doing business, but profits had been decreasing year by year. My parents had even talked about shutting the company down themselves. There was a reason why they were planning on letting my brother take over the family business. When he was in elementary school, my brother had said,
Mom, Dad, I'll take over the business, so don't worry. That's why you've been sending me to cram school, right?
But the numbers don't look good.
Better for you to get a normal job. I'll bring the company back to life for you. I'll study loads more, so leave it to me.
My parents and I believed in him, and even though the company was in a tough spot, my parents continued to pay for my brother's cram school. I tried my best without cram school, staying behind at school to ask questions and go over my weak spots with teachers. Of course, I didn't go to any clubs or do sports. To be honest, I found my brother difficult to get on with, but I respected him for his determination to make our parents proud, so I didn't mind that our treatment was so different. After that, my brother progressed to a private middle school well known in our area as an escalator school. The university also within walking distance from our house, so my parents and I thought he would be staying at home, but when he was in his final year of high school, my brother suddenly said,
I was told that if I wanted to study business, I should go here. I want to go to this university.
The university he showed us was in a place that would be difficult to attend from home. My brother had announced that he wanted to live by himself. On top of that, he said he would study hard, so he requested our parents send him $700 a month, excluding the rent. Our family had already been in a tight situation because of the cost of the private school, but
It's just for 4 years, until I take over the business. Do you really want to crush Grandpa's company?
those words were the deciding factor, and my parents allowed him to go to university. As for me, I did my best to keep expenses to a minimum and chose a high school with cheaper fees. I planned on going to a university with a scholarship. Honestly, there was a world of difference in the way my brother and I were treated. But when I thought about how much responsibility there would be in taking over the family business, I was able to endure it. However, that happened when my brother was in his 4th year of university. Koji, what do you mean you're not going to take over the company?
I was gonna take over, but when I studied in university, I realized that there was no point in taking over a company that's falling apart. I'm so smart.
Don't be an idiot. Mom and Dad were doing their best keeping it running because you said that you were going to take it over. I endured so much because of that.
Yeah, thanks to the money they sent me, I was able to enjoy campus life to the fullest. Most of it disappeared on clothes and drinks, though.
You spent the money they worked so hard to earn on playing around?
You're so rude! I made connections! Thanks to that, I met alumni that introduced me to a great workplace.
Workplace? You've already found a job somewhere?
I'm worth every dime you spend on me, unlike you.
You're the worst.
I'm gonna get a job here, so I'm not coming back home. Even if I took over that crappy company, There's no future for me.
I'm not crappy.
If it's that important to you, why don't you take over? I bet you'll go bankrupt and be stuck in debt for the rest of your life.
My brother blocked my number and didn't even come home after he graduated. After they found out about his betrayal, my parents were overwhelmed with disappointment. Seeing them crying as they apologized to me only made my anger for my brother even stronger. I guess we've got no choice but to close the business after all.
You're right.
Wait! I'll take over the business. What are you talking about? Aren't you frustrated being ridiculed by him like that?
But Yumiko, we made you sacrifice a lot for Koji's education fees. We can't do that to you anymore.
I don't want Grandpa's company to disappear. I don't have an expensive education like Koji, but I won't betray you like he did. I'm going to make him see what he's missed out on. I ignored my parents' objections and decided that I would take over the business. I researched what was necessary to take over and chose to apply to a university that was 2 hours away from home. I studied really hard. Because of the money that was spent on my brother's education, there was no money left to spend on me. So I managed to win a scholarship that was only offered to those who had passed the exam with high scores. Even after I'd begun going to university, I spent the weekdays at my part-time job and studied late into the night. On days off, I helped out a company in order to prepare for when I would take over. However,
we're gonna graduate soon. Are you planning to take over your family's business?
my relationship with Yukio was neither here nor there, and one day he had happened to visit me at the company. About that, I've decided to find work in another company.
Huh? What are you gonna do about this company?
That's just when I was about to explain.
Oh, I'm home for the first time in ages. And I find out that you're gonna betray Mom and Dad too.
Koji,
Koji?
my brother who hadn't been home in ages, suddenly turned up.
So you're planning to throw this company away too, huh?
You're wrong. I'm going to train at one of Dad's friends' companies in order to take over the business.
You're just using that as a reason to get Dad to find you another job. I'm not surprised. You couldn't get a proper job without connections anyway. Why would you say that? Yumiko did her best in university and even graduated top of her year. Who are you? I'm Yukio. We used to play together. Oh yeah, the crybaby. Are you still following Yumiko around? How loyal. I don't care what you say about me, but I can't let you make an idiot of Yumiko when she's worked this hard. She's picking up the pieces you left after you ran away from your promise. Why do I have to be lectured by a stranger like you?
After saying that, my brother left. When I asked my parents why he had come back, they told me they had come back to ask for money. It seems that he had had a habit of overspending since university and was having trouble financially. Just how shameless could he get? Of course my parents didn't lend him anything. Apparently Koji got angry and didn't come back. After that, I got a job in the company my father's friend ran and focused on nothing but work and study. 5 years later, I became the company's ace, and the CEO praised my growth, telling me it was a shame to lose me, that I was ready to take over my family's company. With the CEO, I was able to learn more than the hows and whats to running a business. In part because my parents were unfamiliar with technology, our family's company was shockingly analog. In this day and age, in order to gain trust as a company, we need more net and knowledge. Furthermore, in order to get our numbers back on track, we knew intentively that we wouldn't keep doing the same as we had always done. So even while working, I was talking with the other business owners and trying to find a resolution. Then the first thing I started when I fulfilled my promise was taking over the company was to build a website where our customers can purchase second-hand cars and apply for car insurance. The reason why we had no new customers was because we didn't have a home page to publicize our company and hadn't even put up adverts on our websites. We welcomed customers to trade in their old car whenever they bought a new one. But we only sold the old cars face-to-face at our office, so I hoped that second-hand car sales would improve with the homepage. But our company has always pulled through thanks to the strength we put into our local customers. If we make it so that anyone from across the country can reserve a car online, then we might lose regular customers. Mom, I'm not thinking about making our area larger at all. What do you mean? If anything, I plan to rebuild our company by putting a lot of focus into our local area. My parents only looked more confused, so I got them to bring us the list of our customers. I had begun my main plan. One thing I had learned from my 5 years of training was that for a small company like ours to win, we needed to focus on our local customers and have thoughtful services that major companies didn't provide. In other words, we needed to be distinct from major corporations. The area where we live is pretty rural, and many people are getting on in age. The customers that had been coming to us regularly were no longer able to, and I thought that we had had a chance if we used that to improve our service. First, I began to send mail to the customers on our list. It included information on cars that were mostly senior-friendly. It also included a service where we would deliver the car if they gave us a call. Thanks to the connections my parents had made, we got a few calls from just one round of mail. I went with my parents to visit the customers and listen to their situations. Just as I thought, most of our customers needed a car, but because of their age, the car they had been using up until now was difficult for them to get on and drive. Even if they wanted to drive, because of the recent news about elderly drivers, their family wouldn't let them. However, for people living in the countryside, a car is an essential item, and instead of driving themselves, they would be driven around by family members. In some families, this had led to arguments. For those customers, I introduced cars that prevented sudden acceleration and relieved them of their worry by showing them how low the accident and collision numbers were. As for the car you haven't been using, we'll buy it from you at a higher price than you'll find elsewhere. If you're unsure about our price, you can have it checked by another company and decide later.
No, I trust you. I've always gone to you for my cars. It saves me having to get somebody to chauffeur me. Thank you.
So we were able to take a car that was still in good condition and had our customer purchase a car that was set up with the latest technology. Of course, there were some customers who were in a state where they should return their license, but were being stubborn. That's when I would get my parents to take over and let them talk to the customer about returning their license without hurting their pride. They made us even more popular, and our customers increased. We would inspect the secondhand cars and find them new owners. We increased our numbers by focusing on senior drivers and also made a name as a company that sold old cars in mint condition. Like this, our secondhand car business also got on pretty well. Then one day,
Yumiko, help us! A man from China brought one of our posters, but I don't know what he's saying.
From China, the properties in the area were relatively cheap, so it was easier for people from abroad to purchase. It seemed that the customer could speak a little English, but when it came to the documents and contracts, there were some words that didn't get through. My father and I were both at a loss. But then...
Are you okay?
Yukio! Yukio just happened to pass by and started speaking fluently in Chinese.
Yumiko, it looks like he wants to buy this car. He has his license and other documents. Well, what do you want me to say?
It was our first time selling to a customer that didn't speak the same language, so we decided on reserving the car for the customer. We had Yukio tell the man that we wanted time to check his documents, so we need him to come back another day. Yukio, you can speak Chinese?
I touched on it in university, and I use it at work.
I heard from Yukio that he had dealt with cars even at work, and was in charge of deals with China. I had already felt that we had hit a limit with senior drivers, so I decided right then. Yukio, won't you work with us? We had been feeling understaffed ever since our sales had increased, so I asked if he was interested. At the moment, I don't know if we can pay you the same as what you're receiving now, but if our business grows, we'll definitely increase it.
That's why I'm here.
Huh? I was surprised by his response and let out a funny noise, but my father...
Oh, well, I already asked him if he would work with us.
That's right.
Are you sure? The company you work for at the moment is pretty big, right?
It's big, but it's a family business, so I won't be able to get a better position than I'm in now. If that's the case, I felt that I would be more successful if I gained more experience in your company, which is about to grow.
He said that, but knowing how kind Yukio is, I could tell that he had come to help us, knowing that I was having a hard time. Me too.
I'm looking forward to working with you.
With the addition of Yukio and his sales skills, we were able to increase our market audience, and our company even appeared on TV. We were peerless in our local area and had become well-known nationwide. Everything was going so well, until he messaged us again.
Hey, Yumiko, it's been ages!
What do you want?
I was thinking about taking over the company, just like I promised.
My brother had heard the rumors of our company's growth and was contacting me in an attempt to take the company from me. You must be joking. How hard do you think it was to get this far?
That company was supposed to be mine! I just let you take over for a second. Hand over the ropes!
You're a coward that betrayed us. You've got nerve saying that.
Are you sure you want to talk to me like that? When I'm CEO, I can fire you, you know!
I'm surprised you think that you can actually be CEO.
Because I'm the oldest son! Mom and Dad spent a lot of money on me so that I could become CEO!
Don't you remember that they said no when you came to them for money?
That was so I could learn how tough the world is before I become CEO! They've spent a lot of money on me, so I should know. It's called tough love. I guess you wouldn't understand.
My brother seemed very confident, but there was no way my parents would agree, since they had been betrayed by him. So when I put the phone call on speaker...
Don't give me that. You don't know how hard Yumiko has worked for this company in your stead.
First you come to ask us for money, and next you say you want to be CEO? You should be ashamed. You don't have to come home anymore. My brother persisted, but neither of them were interested in what he had to say.
Damn it! You better remember this. I'll make you regret this!
My brother ended the phone call abruptly. I thought that with this, we would be at peace, but he didn't seem to learn his lesson. The next day, he had sent me an unbelievable message, and we were at a loss for words.
I've wrecked your company! Well, it's the company you stole from me!
What is this? The office is a mess.
I won't forgive you, the old man and hag, for making an idiot of me. As thanks, I made it so that you can't work anymore. That's what you get.
Koji, this is really hard to say.
It's too late for apologies. I hope your company is ruined.
It's not our company anymore.
What? What are you talking about? It's the office!
Our company grew a lot, so we've already moved buildings. We're currently renting that space out to another company.
What?
By the way, the CEO of that company is Yukio.
Yukio's the CEO?
Our company is really big now, so we divided it and made Yukio CEO of that child company. You've really messed it up. We've only just put in some new systems. We won't be able to use that office for a while.
It's your own fault! I'm not responsible!
Well, I guess there's a problem of money.
Money? What are you saying?
If you break someone's property, you've got to compensate.
But I'm family!
Well, I guess it's a bit difficult for compensation to be filed for when both parties are family, but like I said, the CEO of that company is Yukio. If he sues you, you're a criminal for breaking and entering. Yukio seems pretty annoyed. He's calling the police right now.
What? Wait, you can't do that!
We can't do that? You're the one that deceived our parents, played with their money, and ultimately betrayed them. And then you decide you want to take the company now that you know it's not in the red anymore? When we say no, you have a tantrum. Mom and Dad are saying that they want to cut ties with you. I can't think of you as an older brother anymore.
Wait, I'm sorry! I just wanted you to know how I was feeling!
What are you, a kid from kindergarten? Even if you have a temper tantrum, it's not cute at all.
Shut up!
We're strangers now, so I don't mind.
I don't have to be CEO. Make me an official. I've been training in other companies too, you know. I swear I'll be useful.
Ever since you started working, you've always had the worst sales. You must be joking.
Huh?
After you called, I did some research. I found out that your profits are terrible. You've used company money illegally, and your subordinates are getting promoted before you. I hear you're hanging on to your job with the skin of your teeth. You came to ask for money, so I guess you have a lot of debt too.
So you do know, as expected of my little sister. You're just as excellent as I am.
If I was the same as you, the family business would have fallen apart by now. Don't ever call me again. My brother rushed to get away from the scene of the crime, but the police arrived just in time. Even during interrogation, my brother had said, I didn't know that the company had moved, and I continued to make excuses.
Even if you didn't know, it's still a crime to break into and destroy company property.
He ended up being told off by an officer. The company he had been working at also uses this as a chance to fire my brother. All he had left was the debt he had been made from playing around, and on top of that, he had to pay for the things he had destroyed at Yukio's company. It was his first crime, so I think he'll be able to avoid being put behind bars. We'll have to work day and night to pay back the debt he owes. In order to prevent him from crying to us for help, we didn't meet him even if he came. And we left a letter saying that we would call the police if he forced his way in. It seems he was pretty terrified the first time he was caught by the police. So I don't think he'll risk that again. After that, our business was going well, but there was a change in mine and Yukio's relationship.
Hey, Yumiko, do you have someone you like?
What's up all of a sudden? Yukio?
Well, if you don't, then I wondered if you would like to...
What?
I'm serious.
Yukio's really good at his job, but he didn't manage to stay until the very end, and ran away with his face bright red. What do I do? He had suddenly confessed to me, but I didn't know how to reply. This might be a problem even more difficult to solve than reviving a company, but it doesn't feel bad. My name is Charako Yamato. I work in a call center. I often get told that working in a call center must be tough because of the amount of complaints we get. And it's true, but the customers aren't the only ones that complain. Charako, this customer is saying they want to speak to a manager. They're really angry. Seriously? Alright, I'll take the call. Can you put me through? Sorry. Thanks. Hello, this is the manager, Yamamoto speaking. I'm sorry to have caused you so much trouble. Charako, you're so reliable. It's the same guy as usual, right? Yeah, he's always complaining about the tiniest things. I'm very sorry. Yes. Why does Charako have to apologize? Right? He must have a screw loose. Why don't we just cut the phone line? We'll make sure nothing like this ever happens again. Yes, thank you for your call. Phew, he finally accepted. Charako, you're the best. He was just being anal, wasn't he? Oh yeah, a lot of our calls are just people who want to complain. It's better to just let them say what they want to say. It's quicker and much easier that way. It's so stressful. I know, right? You're all doing great. If you weren't here with us, we would have to quit by now. You're right. I used to work part-time too, so I understand how you feel. Really? I guess that's why you're so quick to help us. My boss used to help me out a lot of the time too. I'll take care of you, so I'd be happy if you stuck with me. Charako, you're our goddess. We'll follow you forever. I worked at this call center for 5 years as part-time and started working full-time when I became a supervisor. I'm in charge of looking out for the people who work part-time and management. So calls like this one gets passed to me. I'm the middleman between the top and the employees. I've experienced work as a part-timer, so I get how tough it is. But my current worry isn't the customers' complaints or the human relations within the company. It's our section chief at our client company, Shimo.
It's sudden, but I want you to cover our calls this weekend.
This weekend? That's in 2 days.
We've got a weekend sale coming up, so I think we'll have a lot of phone calls. Can you take them?
Weekends aren't in our contract, so it'll cost extra. Is that okay?
What? We're always giving you work. And you can't work free for just 2 days?
We need to pay our staff extra for the weekend.
Fine, if that's what you say. We can end our contract.
That's not good. I understand. I'll get something done. Our center mainly works as a telephone agency. Our clients request a period of time in which we take their phone calls in their place. In other words, we're a subtract company, so our position is pretty weak. Among our clients, Shimo always demands the impossible and points out our tiny mistakes. He makes nasty comments and is really just a horrible guy. What did Shimo say? He suddenly says he wants us to take calls on the weekend. That's in 2 days! Yeah, for free. That's impossible. I've got to find staff that can work the weekend. If you ask the part-timers, we'll be in the red. So true. What do I do? What are you going to do? I'll find 2 part-timers and come to work myself. That will have to do. Then I'll come too. That way you only have to ask 1 part-timer. Are you sure? We've got to help each other out. Thank you. You're the best. One of my colleagues offered to help, and we somehow managed to get through the phone calls. Shimo, is something wrong?
It's about the calls you took the other weekend.
Yes, were there a problem?
One of the customer's zip codes was missing.
Sorry, the customer said they didn't know it.
Why didn't you look it up afterwards?
We're very sorry.
If this sort of thing keeps on happening, we'll end our contract!
We'll make sure this sort of thing doesn't happen again.
This is your last chance.
Shimon again? He was complaining about the zip code, saying we should have looked it up, blah blah. We're working for free. Why should we go that far? Is he really an adult? Is he being ridiculous? He tells us that we end our contract every single time too. The company he works for, Ibusu, is a major corporation after all. It's so frustrating that I can't say anything back. His predecessor was such a nice person. I wonder when he'll disappear. I wonder too. Shima would call us to complain once every 2 days. He would lecture me for over an hour, every time, so I couldn't get my other work done, and I was pretty troubled.
We got a complaint from a customer saying that they didn't like the attitude of the person who answered the phone.
We get this kind of complaint a lot, so I didn't let him get to me. Really? What day did the customer make the phone call?
What?
Our call center records phone calls in order to improve our customer service.
What?
If you could tell me which customer you heard the complaint from, I can check and make sure they give the operator some training.
Well, I wonder who it was.
Can you tell me? To benefit our customer service.
Oh, I don't think they told me their name.
Oh, really? That's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, be careful from now on.
Understood. From now on, if there's a customer complaint, please take their name and the date.
Fine. Bye.
I did a counter-punch. Take that, Shimo. Don't underestimate call centers. Well done. It looks like he's gone beyond complaining and starting to spout less. Right? He didn't have proof. I guess he did it to lord it over us. I can't believe he thought I wouldn't realize. Charako, that was amazing. I wish I could be more like you. If we get a complaint from a customer about our service, you can use that, so keep in mind. Yep. The next day, he must have been really frustrated about being outsmarted, because he gave us another phone call.
It looks like one of your people made a mistake with the customer's email address. We sent an email, but it bounced.
An address was wrong?
That's right. They must have made a mistake when they heard it from the customer.
I'm very sorry about that.
I can't believe someone would make a mistake with an email address.
I'm sorry, but could you tell me the name of the customer?
Katsuko Katsura. She called on the 20th of February.
Understood. I'll listen back and call for her email address.
You bet you will. Do it properly this time.
This time, he had come prepared, so I was able to confirm the contents of the phone call with Miss Katsuhira. How was it? There wasn't any mistake. You mean Miss Katsuhira made a mistake when telling us the address? It's possible. This is a pain in the ass. I took a deep breath and called Shimo. It was because I knew that a battle was about to start. I listened to our recordings, but it seems that there is no problems on our part.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I've sent you the recording by email, so please confirm it yourself.
Hey! Are you trying to blame the customers for your mistakes?
I'm not blaming anyone for anything. I'm just stating the facts.
Do you really think that's forgivable? It's your job to cover the customer's mistakes.
It's also my job to defend my subordinates. If I were to accept that we were at fault, it would undermine how hard my colleagues work.
How dare you! I can always cancel that contract, you know. Know your place!
This time, I really can't accept that this was our mistake.
Do you really think that you're allowed to take that sort of attitude? There are plenty of other call centers I can ask.
Oh, really? Then please go ahead.
What? I'm not bluffing, you know. I'm being serious.
If so, I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to follow through.
I'm ending this contract. At the end of the week, we'll no longer require your services.
Understood. I said that in the spur of the moment, but Ibusu has been a major customer of ours for a long time. I realized just how serious the problem was and went to our manager for advice. I'm very sorry.
Well, there's no helping it. You did well to defend your subordinates.
That doesn't change that it was a major contractor of ours. Would it be best for me to go and apologize?
Nope, let's leave it be.
Huh?
There's no other call center in the country that would accept a contract with Ebisu with the same conditions we offer.
What do you mean?
For the past year, no matter how difficult the job, we've taken it on because we've had a contract with them for a long time. Ever since Shimoi became the section chief, the contract price has gone down and we're in the red.
I was surprised by the manager's words. I thought we would profit, even if they asked the impossible. I never imagined that we were losing money for the sake of being friendly. So we were lucky this time?
That's right. Frankly, we wanted to end the contract, but it was just difficult to say because of our history. In the past, we got the chance to make other connections through their introductions, but recently that's not been so appetizing. We're really grateful to you.
Really? Thank God. I thought I was going to get fired.
Of course not. If anything, I wish I could give you a bonus for it. And I have another thing to tell you.
What is it?
No other subcontract company will accept Ebisu's impossible requests as cheaply as us. In other words, they'll be the ones that come crying to us.
Oh, right. I'm looking forward to it.
That's right.
3 days later, just as we had thought, a phone call came from a panicked Shimo came through. I guess he couldn't find a new call center after all. Thank you for your phone call. If I remember correctly, I think our contract was supposed to be over.
Could we forget about that?
What do you mean?
Our companies have a long history,
So what?
so it'll be a problem for you if we end our contract. We're a major corporation.
No, there's no problem at all. We'd like to cancel our contract.
What are you talking about? Don't act tough.
What?
I'm telling you, we'll let you continue working for us. I think you should be jumping for joy.
I'd like to confirm, but you mean to keep the conditions the same as up until now?
Of course.
Really? Then we'd like to officially reject this offer.
What?
If it's under the same conditions as up until now, I'm afraid we can't accept a new contract. To tell you the truth, despite there being no profits for our company, we continued this contract because of our history with your company. If we have to suffer your nasty phone calls once every 2 days and be blamed for the customer's mistakes by you, then we have no reason to continue our contract.
Don't say that. Can't you do something? You're an adult. You know how society works.
Thank you for everything up until now. Goodbye. In the end, Ibusu couldn't find a call center that would take their phone calls, so their employees were stuck dealing with customer complaints concerning phone calls not getting through and terrible customer service. They were in a panic, and I'm not surprised. They shouldn't underestimate call centers. It looks easy, but it needs a particular kind of talent. A few days later, Ibusu's director-manager appeared at our call center bringing sweets.
I'm very sorry about our attitude this time. I don't know how to apologize. Please raise your head. It seems that Shimoy has been incredibly rude to you all this time. It was our fault for not managing him properly. I'm very sorry.
It's not your fault. Shimo is definitely horrible, though. When he heard my words, the directing manager's face clouded over, and he shared something shocking with us.
The truth is, Shimoy was pocketing 30% of the money that was supposed to be paid to our company. What? Do you mean he was embezzling? Yes. We thought we were paying you a decent amount of money, but it seems he had made you work for much cheaper. I'm deeply sorry that we didn't realize.
That's why our profits were so low ever since Shimo was put in charge.
We were shocked that the contract price had changed without any discussion, but that's why.
The manager and I looked at one another. The situation was much more serious than we had anticipated.
As of yesterday, we've relieved him of his position, and we've taken the case to a criminal court. We plan to demand the money he stole and have him pay compensation. Of course, the amounts that wasn't paid to you will be transferred in one payment. If you do that, won't Ebisu lose profits? It was originally our own fault. We should really pay extra for the trouble caused. But for now, if you'll overlook that.
Before Shimo was put in charge of relations with us, we continued the contract with this company for a long time. This was probably how our contract was supposed to look before Shimo came.
I know that I shouldn't ask this, but could we make another contract with your company? Are you sure? There's no other call center we can trust as much as you. I hope that you'll agree. I'm relieved to hear that. Of course, we'd also prefer to have a good relationship with Ebisu. We're looking forward to working with you again. Thank you so much, thank you.
So we made a new contract with Ebisu, and peace returned to our office. I feel so much better now that Shimo isn't breathing down our backs. The new section chief sometimes comes to visit, and he brings sweets. I think I've gained some weight. Hey, let's keep private talk for lunchtime. Let's work hard on our customer service today as well. Yeah. A lot of people must think that anyone can work in a call center, but I think it's a pretty particular job where we deal with the most impossible complaints with the most honest and sincere attitude. Let's make sure we don't look down on other people's jobs like Shimo did. We can't forget that our world goes around because of someone else's hard work.
My name is Ruri Miyano. My family has been running a company since my grandfather's generation. It's pretty big, but I have no intentions of following in their footsteps. I've always dreamed of becoming an editor. It's been 5 years since I started working here as an editor. But my parents want me to go back. Actually, half a year ago, my husband, Hiroshi, and I entered our names in the family register. But every time I go home, my father tries to make Hiroshi and me a part of the family business. I'm sorry, I told my father that you're an author, and you don't want to work in the family business, but he won't listen.
I don't mind. I'm not selling that many copies of my book, and we might have to depend on them someday, so...
Despite my family being like that, he doesn't complain at all. I love him from the bottom of my heart. His books are not bestsellers, but I beloved that he'll get an award someday.
I feel bad that your father will pay for the whole wedding.
It's fine. He wanted to pay for it, so let's just be grateful. Actually, 3 months ago, we decided to hold a wedding. We went to my parents' house to talk about that, and my father said he wanted to make me happy by making it the best wedding. So he decided to pay for the whole wedding expenses. I was so happy that we can finally hold a wedding ceremony. And I believed Hiroshi, so I didn't doubt him at all. Until that incident happened that day. As a part of the company's operational reform, I started working from home. That's when Hiroshi started to act suspicious. Hiroshi, are you out drinking with your team again?
Rui, I'm sorry. I'll be late tonight, too. Everyone's being so stressed lately. I can't do without a drink these days.
Hiroshi started to go out for drinks with his team more often and comes home late. He still has work to do. I wonder if he'll be fine. His new release is not selling that much, so he's feeling stuck. I thought that was the reason why he was drinking for an escape, but I guess I was wrong.
I'm home.
Just when I thought my husband, in his inebriated state, opened the door and slunk in, he said the craziest thing.
Sachi, let's make out.
Huh? Sachi?
Sachi!
Hey, stop it! I kicked him without thinking. Who the hell is Sachi? My husband slept on the floor, calling out another woman's name. I have a bad feeling about this. Despite feeling guilty, I checked his phone. What is this? There were pictures of him with another woman naked, and there were messages too.
You're the best, Sachi. I wanted to marry you.
No, you can't do that until you achieve our goal, okay?
So frustrating. I don't want to go home.
I don't want you to go too.
I love you, Sachi. Let's do this again next week.
There's more and more. There's evidence of his affair all over his phone. When I checked the date of the messages and the days when he came home late, the dates matched. That's when I realized that he had an ongoing affair. Unbelievable. How could he do this to me? What was our marriage for? Tears rolled down my cheeks. I slowly placed his phone on the table and looked him in the eyes.
Sachi, I love you.
I'm not the one he loves. Realizing that, I started crying again. The next day,
I'm sorry, you're right.
when I asked him about Sachi, he started apologizing. Who the hell is Sachi?
She's a stranger that I happened to meet on the street and...
I don't think someone as shy as you would pick up anyone. Tell me the truth.
She's my college classmate.
He told me that they met during their alumni reunion and hit it off. Both of them were in a drunken state. They did it. What? When you and I haven't done it in a while.
I'm sorry. You're very busy at work and I felt so lonely. But I want you to believe me. You're the only one I love.
He said and hugged me. I was so busy at work that I think I might have been ignoring you. Hiroshi, I'm sorry. I was the breadwinner of the family, so I was focused on how I needed to support our family. So I worked harder than everyone, but I didn't think that would make Hiroshi lonely and lead to this. Of course, I will never forgive him for cheating on me. That's a different story. Delete Sachi's contact number. Delete all the messages and pictures. And promise me you'll never see her again.
Of course!
My husband deletes Sachi's contact number in front of my eyes.
I'm truly sorry. I won't ask you to forgive me. Just give me one more chance.
His desperate pleas made me pity him. Understood, but no more next time. Hiroshi went out to drink less and I started working at the office again. So we lived life as it has always been for us. There were no suspicious activities. I thought of believing him again. But since I got cheated on once, I couldn't trust him 100% anymore. So I investigated by myself who Sachi is, her workplace and address. I got all the information needed when the need to sue arises. Of course, I kept it a secret from Hiroshi. If nothing happens from now on, that's fine. But if ever something happens... I was hoping that my husband would change, but found out in the worst way. That they were still not over. That was when I was sorting out the wedding invitations. There was a wedding invitation for a woman named Yoshiko Omae. I'm sure my husband thought that I didn't notice. Yoshiko. That's my husband's lover's name. Unbelievable! He promised not to see her again. How could he invite her to our wedding? In the course of the investigation, for Yoshiko's identity to not be recognized, he registered a different name. He used a fake name when messaging her. He's already suspicious at that point. I have never thought that he would invite her to our wedding. To get conclusive evidence, I went to the investigation firm. I told my husband that I needed to do overtime work and would come home late. Just as planned, my husband fell for the trap.
I was able to record your husband and the woman's conversation.
My love for my husband turned into hatred.
You were able to trick your wife? You shouldn't have called my name in your house. You're so close to paying off your debt, right?
She's working very hard, so my debt is almost paid off. Her parents send us money, but I haven't told her about that because I'm paying off my debt with it.
I'm surprised she didn't find that out.
It seems like her parents want her to go back to their business, so they're trying to win me over. They have no idea that I'm paying off my debt and giving you presents with that money. They're so stupid.
Don't forget to get your share of the property when you get divorced. We'll indulge ourselves with that.
Leave it up to me.
If you're just going to get divorced, isn't the wedding expenses a waste?
I don't want to do it, but she really wants a wedding, so I can't rub her the wrong way. Her parents have the money, so...
Never in her wildest dreams will she think that her husband's lover will attend the wedding.
Be in your best dress. I'm excited to see you.
Poor wife.
I'll be able to marry you soon.
I'll be waiting for you, darling.
It's the first time I'm hearing about his debt. He said that his books are not selling, so he doesn't have that much income. I've been paying for our living expenses, but that was probably also a lie. His income probably went to his debt payment. I was furious. I can't believe he called not only me, but my parents stupid. That was my husband's true feelings. Something broke inside me. I won't be satisfied with just a divorce. I'll show him what I'm capable of. Until the wedding day, I pretended not to notice anything. I'm not bothered by the affair. Let's make it the best wedding. I made it look like I didn't know anything. I'm sure my husband was laughing inside. He has no idea that I'm planning revenge. Hey,
Ruri. Where are the people you invited to our wedding?
I wonder why. Maybe they went to the restroom.
What? And the line must be long.
Of course not, stupid. I told the situation to the people I invited and asked them not to come. Not knowing anything, my parents came to me.
Ruri, what's happening?
Mom, Dad, please don't worry. You'll see something more amazing than your daughter's wedding.
Ruri, what are you saying?
It seems like he sensed something wrong because he started sweating profusely. But it's too late. I ran to his lover and said, Yoshiko, enjoy the wedding.
Huh? What?
Or should I say, Sachi. At that moment, her face turned pale. Hiroshi, standing behind her, was shaking, not comprehending what was happening. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to our wedding. However, this is not about my husband and me, but this woman named Yoshiko and my husband.
Ruri, what are you saying?
Right! I came here to celebrate your wedding, but I'm going home now.
I don't mind if you go home, but you'll lose your opportunity to explain.
Huh?
When she calmed down, I asked the MC to play the video. I thought that it might inconvenience them, but everyone said they will help. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please watch. Hiroshi turned paler than I thought he was capable of. That's because Hiroshi and Yoshiko were on the screen making out. And what's more is that...
It seems like her parents want her to go back to their business, so they're trying to win me over. They have no idea that I'm paying off my dad and giving you presents with that money. They're so stupid.
Don't forget to get your share of the property when you get divorced. Never in her wildest dreams will she think that her husband's lover will attend the wedding.
Be in your best dress. I'm excited to see you.
Everyone was shocked that the venue went dead silent. Everyone was dumbfounded by Hiroshi and Yoshiko on the screen.
Ruri, is that what you think? Listen, you're the only one I love.
Then why is there a recording of you together? When you promised me you'll never see her again.
This woman threatened me. She said she'll expose everything to you if I don't follow what she says.
Get a hold of yourself. You're the one who came crawling to me saying you want me.
Shut up!
You're at fault too. He'll be having an affair if there's nothing wrong with you.
Will you still say the same after seeing this?
What?
There was a continuation of the video.
I love you, Hiroshi.
Kane, you're the only one I love too. Let's get married.
The screen showed a different woman with Hiroshi. Right. Frustratingly, Hiroshi had an affair with one more woman. I'm thankful to the detective for finding this out.
Hey, who the hell is Kanai?
She's...
You said you wanted to marry me.
Yoshiko, didn't you say the person cheated on was the problem?
Arr!
Ruri, please stop it! This is too much!
I'm the one who should be crying, you idiot! I wanted to tell him, but our parents from both sides did the talking for me.
You brought all this upon yourself! What a pity!
Who made it possible for you to achieve your dream of becoming an author? You should be ashamed of yourself.
Because Ruri is so busy at work and she won't give me attention.
This is my schedule since Hiroshi's affair was found out. I go to work at 8 a.m. and come home as late as 8 p.m. We have dinner together and slept in the same bed every night. We have conversations too. Is this not enough?
Hiroshi!
Ah!
You said that you'll convince Ruri, so I sent money to you every month to help, but I can't believe you used that money to pay for your debts!
No, Father! It's all a misunderstanding. I thought that when Ruri and I have a child in the future, I thought that I should pay off my debt.
Pay your debt with your own money!
Dad's right. After that, Hiroshi and Yoshiko's family and friends condemned them. It was complete pandemonium. The wedding was, of course, canceled. I've also already talked about this with the staff. Then it came down to the final part of my revenge. With that said, I'll divorce you. It was a brief time with you, but I've had enough. I shoved the certificate of divorce to his face.
Ruri, wait! I can't live without you!
Of course you won't, you don't have that much income.
Serves you right.
Why are you acting as if you won? I'll demand alimony from you too.
What?
These are the documents made by the lawyer concerning the claims of compensation. As written here, I will demand $30,000 from you.
30,000? There's no way I can pay that much.
If you stop going to host clubs, you'll easily be able to pay that.
How did you know about the host?
Hey, Yoshiko! What do you mean by a host club?
It means you were also fooled. Because of her addiction to host clubs, she's not able to pay her debts. So she tried to make you divorce me and make the money you take from me hers.
You... I thought you loved me!
Let me tell you frankly, who would like a bastard like you?
You do, right?
You're my biggest mistake. They had nothing to say back to that and couldn't move. As for the guests who came, I apologized to them once again and returned their celebratory gifts. Right. You'll be paying for alimony in this wedding, so...
Ruri, didn't you say that your parents will pay for that?
Of course not!
Just as I declared, I demanded alimony from my ex-husband Hiroshi and the women he had affairs with. Because we were only married for a small period, he had little to no property division. He ended up in more debt. As for Yoshiko,
That man fooled me.
she continued the refusal to pay, but
Unfortunately, we have evidence collected at the box office. If you take it to the court, you're sure to lose.
crying out loud, she agreed to pay.
Now what it has come to this, I'll make that man pay. Why won't he answer my calls? He blocked me?
You should clear up your own mistakes.
That's something my Hiroshi would do. By the way, after that, my ex-husband contacted me.
I was wrong! I only realized after. Ruri, I need you! You need me too, right?
Nope, not at all. We're already divorced, and I already receive alimony from you. I don't need you anymore, so I'll block you, okay?
What? Wait! Ruri!
Okay, block. Just like that, the epic battle between my ex-husband and I reached its conclusion. I have no idea where he is and what he is doing now. I'm still doing my job as an editor. My parents who tried to bring me back to the family business didn't say anything for a while since they felt bad for giving money to my ex-husband. It seems like I'll be married to my work for a while. As for you, don't fall for parasitic humans like my ex-husband. Please be careful, okay?
My name is Kenichi Haruda. I'm 14 years old and in middle school. This time I'd like to tell you about the story of when I stood up to my bully. The story begins when I was in an elementary school. Even then I was introverted and had few friends.
Kenichi, why don't you go out and play with your friends?
It's fine, I don't have that many friends anyway. At home and even at school, during lunch and recess, I would do nothing but read books. And I don't have many memories of going out to play with friends. I guess you might think that every day was dark and pitiful, but that wasn't the case. Luckily for me, my parents and siblings were kind and understanding, so I could feel at ease when I was at home.
Well, it's a good thing to like books. If he likes to read, then it means that he won't have much difficulty studying either.
You're right. There is not much point being nosy about it.
Dad, I want to read this next.
Go ahead, read as much as you want.
My parents were accepting of how I spent my time, but because they were really easygoing, I did have a hard time at school, especially after getting into 5th grade. Hey, do something funny! I can't. This is Masayuki Tomozawa. We became classmates for the first time in the 5th grade. His body and his attitude were much bigger than mine, and he was a typical class bully. He was as strong as his body was big, so not even the teachers, let alone our classmates, could handle him. He set his eyes on me as soon as we became classmates, and he would often bother me, make fun of me, and say the impossible. The worst thing was when he would use wrestling moves on me as practice. He was just copying what he had seen on TV, but it was still pretty painful. Ow, it hurts! Stop it! You're so weak! Take that! On top of that, the teachers would think that we were just being boys and wouldn't stop him because they thought we were playing. I was trying desperately to show that I didn't like it by saying it hurts and stop it, but it seems that it wasn't bad enough to be considered bullying. Every day was horrible, and I didn't want to go to school anymore. But there was one person that offered me a helping hand. For example, if I was being picked on by Masayuki and his friends after school. All right, next let's try out the Cobra twist. Please, let's stop already. Just when my pleas had fallen on deaf ears, and I was about to be tortured again.
Stop that! He says he doesn't want to.
Ugh, it's Yokoyama!
If you don't let go of him, I'm calling a teacher.
Our classmate, Midori Yokoyama, came to save me. She was pretty stubborn and was disliked by the boys in our class. I was pretty scared of her myself. But she had a kind personality and couldn't overlook when someone was in trouble. She did more than anybody else ever did to help me from the bullies. Thank you again, Midori.
If you don't like it, then you have to say it more clearly, Kenichi.
Our houses were close, so we've been friends ever since we were little. She was one of the few friends I had, and I wouldn't be exaggerating if I said that she was my only friend.
I can't always be there to help you, you know. My dad told me that one day boys will have much stronger bodies than girls do. So you've got to get strong yourself, Kenichi.
Yeah. Time passed and we became middle school students. When I entered middle school, I made a decision. My family and I were celebrating my progress when I announced it to them. I want to take boxing lessons. My parents and siblings were all really surprised. I can't blame them. If a boy that was always reading books only wanted to start martial arts, I'd be surprised too. It's not like I was especially interested in boxing. However, there was a reason why the desire to become stronger had grown in me. Even though he was surprised, my dad clapped his hands and agreed.
That's good too. You won't regret learning how to box.
Yeah, it'll be good to gain some strength.
They started preparing straight away and found a gym that accepted younger students.
Hey, I met your mom the other day. Is it true that you're going to start boxing?
It's true, we've already found a gym.
Why all of a sudden? You and boxing don't match at all.
There's no big reason. I just felt that I wasn't getting enough exercise.
Why do you sound like a middle-aged man? You just wanted to exercise. Why not choose soccer or basketball? Why boxing?
I have my own reasons.
Like what?
It doesn't matter. It's not a bad thing, is it?
Yeah, I know. I just thought it was strange.
There's no deeper meaning or anything. Don't worry. Midori was pretty suspicious and was worried about me. But I'd already made up my mind. They started preparing straight away and found a gym that accepted younger adults. I headed to the gym with my heart pounding. I was prepared for it to be really tough, and I thought that a weak, skinny boy like me would be laughed at. However, when I met the trainer, Mr. Tadayama, who would be teaching me, "I'm glad you have some interest in boxing. Let's take our time working on the basics." Mr. Tadayama had a really large build, but he was kind and cheerful. I was able to relax my tense body and enjoyed my first day more than I thought I would. And I was surprised by how much I liked boxing. I thought it was just violent, but you had to use your head. And it was a good stress relief. Moreover, the training I did every day didn't go to waste. I was still slim, but if I took off my clothes, it was clear that I had muscles. 6 months after starting, I was already taking part in amateur competitions. Even though I only managed to win my first match, I couldn't forget how satisfying it was to win. My parents were so happy they cried, and I realized how much they must have worried about me up until now. So much I felt bad. I even gained more confidence in my first ever win, especially considering that I'd always lost up until now. And then one day, Midori? On my way home from training, I caught sight of Midori. The person with her was Yasuyuki Tomozawa, who had advanced to the same middle school as us and in the same class as Midori. I didn't know that they were close enough to go out together. Hey, you're at the station today, right?
Yeah, I was. Oh, the gym you go to is close by, isn't it?
I think you were with Yasuyuki.
Yeah, I wasn't happy about it. My friend told me they were interested in one of his friends, so I ended up hanging out with them.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yasuyuki hasn't changed one bit since elementary. He's been asking me out a lot recently, but it's really annoying.
You mean asking you out on a date?
What, are you curious?
No, not really.
Oh, really? Fine, I'll let you off with that. But don't worry, I'm not interested in him.
And that was that. I was a bit relieved to hear that they hadn't gotten close, but I'm still worried nonetheless. Midori's really strong-headed, but ever since entering middle school, she's suddenly become more girlish. I'd heard rumors that she had gotten popular because of how cute she was. I don't think Yasuyuki would become interested in her as well. She's an important childhood friend, so I can't let her go out with a vicious guy like that even if the world fell apart. I felt that I had to do anything to prevent it. But Midori didn't start going out with anybody, and our relationship stayed the same too. Time passed and we entered our second year of middle school. This guy's been weak ever since elementary school. He can't disobey me. It's really boring. Unfortunately, I was put in the same class as Yasuyuki. Every day was the same with him picking on me. Ever since starting boxing, I'd gained more confidence and was able to make friends. But it was only a tiny difference. Because of my time in elementary, I was still conscious of Yasuyuki. What was the point of doing boxing if I was still scared of him? I felt frustrated with myself every single day. But one day, I had a class rep meeting after school, and when I went back to the classroom to get something… Oh, come on, just once!
No, I don't want to.
It's not a big deal, we're only going to the game arcade.
I'm not interested in games. You're really annoying.
Yasuyuki was asking Midori out. It would be fine if he was just asking her out on a date, but several of Yasuyuki's friends were with him. They had surrounded Midori, as though to keep her from running away. It seemed like even Midori was scared. I entered the classroom and… Midori! Sorry I made you wait. I called out to her as though we had promised to meet up. We were childhood friends, so she understood what I meant to do right away.
No, it's okay. I can't wait to have dinner at your place.
So we tried to leave the classroom without making trouble, but Yasuyuki grabbed my arm as I walked away. Hey, wait! Didn't you realize I was talking to Midori? It looked like she had refused, so I thought it was over. I must have pissed him off with my remark, because Yasuyuki began to speak in an irritated tone. I heard a rumor that you started boxing. You're so weak and skinny, what's the point? He usually looked down on me, so being spoken back to like that seemed to have aggravated him. I better teach you a lesson on what happens if you try to disobey me. He said that and forcefully dragged me into a deserted classroom.
Hey, don't start a fight.
Shut up! Women should stay quiet. You guys make sure she doesn't come in. Midori tried to stop Yasuyuki, but he got his friends to prevent her from doing anything. Yasuyuki wanted to have a one-on-one fight, and for some reason, some students that were in the middle of club activities had appeared to watch. It was only a matter of time before a teacher would arrive. Come on! It's your chance to show me your best punch! Come on, punch me! He was underestimating me. There was no helping it since he still thought that he was superior to me, just as he did in elementary. But I made up my mind. I let out a light punch to Yasuyuki's face. Ah! It was a clean hit. I guess he couldn't see it coming. The audience was going crazy too. Nobody expected that I could land a punch on Yasuyuki. It was just a light punch, so there wasn't much damage, but he was shocked. Catching him by surprise must have annoyed him a lot because... You piece of... Don't get ahead of yourself! He shouted as he tried to punch at me. His body was still bigger, so it was pretty intimidating. But I could tell that it was an uppercut. I avoided his punch easily and countered with a body blow. Yasuyuki wasn't prepared and my punch stabbed his stomach. Ah! He fell down where he was and started to cry. His friends also. Yasuyuki was bleeding! What do we do? No way! Began to panic. Now that I had beaten Yasuyuki in a fight, just like that, I started to wonder just what I'd been so afraid of.
Kenichi, are you okay?
I'm alright. I wasn't the one that lost the fight. Crap! Damn it! Damn it! You better remember this! I won't forgive you! I won't forgive you for embarrassing me! I don't mind fighting anytime, if you can win against me. When he heard my words, Yasuyuki went bright red and ran away. He must have been frustrated but couldn't argue back. After that, a teacher arrived and the crowd was dispersed. We could finally go home.
Today was unbelievable. I didn't know that you had gotten that much stronger.
I didn't think I could win that easily either.
I was worried when I heard that you had started boxing, but I guess you had talent.
I wonder. He wasn't as strong as I thought he would be.
Oh, showing off?
But it's the truth.
By the way, why did you begin boxing in the first place?
That again?
Because it really was sudden.
You're the one that told me.
I did?
When we were in elementary, there was a Japanese man who became world champion, remember? You said that you liked those kinds of guys.
Huh? You remembered that?
Yeah, and you told me that guys would one day have stronger bodies than girls would. And told me that I had to get stronger, right? I thought that was the only way was to start boxing. Midori had become a lot cuter, but she was an important childhood friend. I don't think she ever considered me as boyfriend material, but after this incident, we became much closer. Even though we hadn't said anything, we started to go home together every day, and we were messaging each other every night. Then in our third year, just before graduation, I think we'll become much busier from now on with our exams, but I'd like you. If I pass my entrance exams, will you go out with me?
What are you talking about? Even if you don't pass, we can start going out from today.
But if we start going out, I feel like I won't be able to focus on studying.
I know that you're serious, so it's okay. Let's study together and get into high school we're aiming for. If we're together, we can work harder, right?
Yeah, thanks, Midori. So we started dating in our third year of middle school. Our parents were good friends too, so they were all really happy. They were even saying if they get married, we'll all be family, and getting excited. We're still in middle school, so we can't think that far ahead.
Huh? but I started dating you with that in mind.
What?
I'm looking forward to it, honey.
Like this, we're enjoying every day, completely in love. Even at school, everyone knew that we were serious, so nobody teased us. Or rather, because of that incident, my strength became common knowledge, so nobody dared to tease me. As for Yasuyuki, who had been so obnoxious, he'd become the laughingstock of the year group for being knocked out so easily. His friends no longer hung out with him, so he spent his days alone. He had a lot of pride and looked like he couldn't bear it, so ended up taking days off of school, and ultimately not coming at all. His mother came to my house one day.
This is all your fault. You embarrassed Yasuki in public. I'll sue you.
And made a fuss outside her house once, but
Our son was bullied by your son for a long time. We've been thinking about telling the school for a long time, but Kenichi stopped us, saying that he didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Our kids had a problem between them and they solved it themselves. On top of that, Yasuyuki is the one that decided to stop going to school, right? Then you should deal with him by yourself. If you make more of a fuss, I'll call the police.
my father is a gentleman, but he must have been really angry with Yasuyuki all this time. He spoke strongly and drove Yasuyuki's mother away.
In comparison to everything you've suffered, this one incident was nothing. To think that he would stop coming to school after just the one punch just shows how weak he is mentally.
My dad was laughing, but I think he was right. After that, we were able to graduate without any problem, and we got into the high schools we were aiming for. Midori was saying that she wanted to become a food tech teacher in the future, and progressed to a girls' school that had food technology as an option. I went to a boys' school that had a sports course to learn sports science. Through boxing, I learned how fun it was to move my body, and had started to dream of becoming a sports trainer or a PE teacher.
Imagine if we became teachers in the same school.
But I wonder if a husband and wife can work in the same school.
Oh, I thought that you weren't thinking that far.
Yeah, but
I'm looking forward to the future.
we don't know what will happen yet. But I want to work hard and aim for our dreams together.